In America, there's an overwhelming number of students whose only goal in life is to become a professional athlete. Nothing else will suffice. Michael Tootie Mayberry, a fictional character, is one such young man. Author Eugene Holloman, a former student athlete, created the Athlete Student book series as a way to let other student athletes know that they're not alone. While being a professional athlete is an admirable goal, only a small percentage of candidates will realize that dream. But what happens when that dream is no longer a viable reality? I had the pleasure of interviewing Eugene and getting a little insight into his student athlete experience, as well as finding out what we could expect from Tootie Mayberry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the man himself, Eugene Holloman, author of the book, The Athlete Student, freshman year, and he's got a new book coming out. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I just want to introduce you to this young man. He's a father, he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur, but I just wanted to introduce you to him, talk a few minutes about his book and his upcoming projects. So without further ado, Mr. Eugene Holloman.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure, man. It's an honor. Yep.
Thank you, man. So when I started reading the book and I really got into it, I wanted to give it all my attention, you know, not only because we know each other, but when I read the first couple of pages, even when I read the introduction, I was just like, man, this is going to be good.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to be interrupted, you know what I mean? I wanted to be able to read it all the way through, and it's a real easy read. And your book here, The Athlete Student, the freshman year, what made you, because I know you was kind of a big deal at JMU, you know, running back, what was it, all conference, all state, all world, you know, something like that.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, and I know you had a bit of a rocky road with your experience. If you would, share with the audience, you know, kind of what your experience was and what it was like and why you created this fictional work.
Right, so when I got to JMU, I transferred in because my grades weren't good in high school. So I spent a year and a half at junior college all the way in Kansas. And so when I got to JMU, I was a nobody, right? No one knew my name. And this was right after JMU won the national championship. So the football was like the higher echelon. Everybody knew the football players. Wherever the football players were at, that's where the party was at, right? And so it was something that I was just looking like being a nobody. I wasn't used to it per se. I didn't like it. I knew I had to really put in that work to get to where I wanted to be. And some things happened. The two running backs who led JMU to a national championship in 2004, they got injured. And I started to just do whatever the coaches said, and I started to move up the depth chart. And next thing you know, I'm starting against the #1 team in the nation. And I put on a good performance, and I retained the starting position for the rest of the year. And I was killing it, just to be honest. And then things started to change. Like all the girls knew my name, inviting me to the parties. I'm in the newspaper every day, and scouts were calling me. They were coming to see me play, coming to practice, and my head just grew, man. And it was something that I didn't prepare myself for. I didn't know what it was about. I started not to take school seriously because I was about to get into the league. I was looking at the draft boards. I'm about to get drafted. Not early rounds, but my dream is about to come true. And I lost the identity of who I was. You know what I mean? I wasn't humble. I started to become selfish. It was all about how many stats I can put up, how many touchdowns I can score, and it caught up to me when I got injured. Like everything got wiped away, and I had a chance to reflect. And I was like, man, I wasted a golden opportunity. But I actually did a lot of research, and I see a lot of guys do it too. It's no one can really prepare you for the spotlight, right? If you've never really been in it before, no one can really prepare you for just trying to navigate athletics and a social life, and then the academic portion of it. It's harder than what we are led to believe. You know what I mean? And if you've never been through it, you don't really have an expectation for it. And so these kids, man, they look at TV. They want to want to be the next LeBron James, right? But then again, it's millions of athletes who didn't make it too. So what happens if you spend 15 years of your life trying to reach this goal, right? And this is the only thing on the top of your brain. And then it doesn't happen. You're not one of the 2% of athletes to make it, right? How can you reset yourself and try to find that thing that you're passionate about? That's hard to do. And that's why you see a lot of athletes go through depression. Even the ones that make it, the game is wiped away. They no longer in the classroom, in the locker room with their teammates. And it's like, man, it's just different. And so I thought of a way to really put that into a book, not only for just entertainment purposes, but for a young kid or even parents to take something away, to see the sense of like, man, I got to develop my children, or if I'm an athlete, I got to develop myself to be ready for life after, because it's always going to be after, right? It's always going to be retirement. We can't play until we're 50, 60 years old. And so
that's right.
The one thing about it, your body one day might fail you. You may can't jump as high as you used to, right? But the thing that's in your brain, right, it will always be there.
Yeah.
Unless something catastrophic happened, with diseases or whatnot. But that would most likely be there before, excuse me, your body goes. And so we have to make sure we developing that before we do anything else. And so that's the overall message.
So a lot of people don't realize the best muscle you got is up here. These are easy, but this is the hard one right here.
It is.
So cool.
These books are available on Amazon at the links below. Be sure to get both. If you would like to see my overview of the first book in this series, The Athlete Student Freshman Year, click the link above. And we'll see you next week when we continue talking to Eugene about his experiences, Tootie's experiences, and what your student athlete could experience in their life of sports and after sports. Until then, see you next time.